that Sean Gunn was on.
We're on.
Gilmore Girls.
We're live.
Welcome from our eyeballs. Oh my God. Let me go again. From our eyeballs to your ear holes, it's Horror Dork. I am your host, Mr. Sir. Joining me as always is the meth head Santa Claus himself, Golden.
The other Golden.
And here's a man that will never need to use the substance ever in his life, the Anthony.
I don't know if that's true. I thought it seemed pretty beneficial.
Yeah, there's no drawbacks at all. Nothing bad will happen.
Entire chickens.
Fuck, you're supposed to.
But it, from all from the evidence I was shown, nobody does it the right way. Everybody just does it wrong. So if you haven't gathered, or by looking at the episode title, today we were talking about my favorite horror movie of the year, 2024's The Substance, currently streaming on the Mubi. It's called MUBI. I hear it advertised all the time to me on Blank Check. It's streaming on there, but you can also, I believe it's on, you can rent it other places. I think you can get it on Fandango.
I think people know how to get movies nowadays.
Yeah. Before we jump into that, I believe we want to talk about body horror in general. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, what are some of your guys' favorite body horror?
Well, I kind of made a list. I thought maybe
sure.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Obviously, everyone's favorite is probably The Thing.
The Thing is my favorite. I have a bunch of them that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a movie that seems to transcend.
I mean, that's just like my favorite movie in general.
But
like, not even just horror.
Just as far as like horror fans go, it seems like anyone from Gen Z to Boomer has that in their top 10. At least the large majority of people. I don't know, Golden. The first one I want to talk about was
It's not
Slither.
a boomer. Oh yeah,
Slither is
Slither's
so good.
cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one since I saw that one in theaters. James Gunn's Slither.
You saw that in theaters?
Yeah, I did.
It has a big Nate.
And the very short theatrical run it had. But that was like the time when I would see like literally everything in theaters. Like as soon as it came out, I was seeing it.
Yeah, as a big Nathan Fillion fan, I've watched it multiple times.
Gotcha. I was a big Michael Rooker head.
Well, then you must love all James
They call
Gunn
us the
movies.
Rooks.
Yeah.
Because James Gunn's like, well, we're gonna cast Michael Rooker in this.
It's also heavily inspired by Night of the Creeps, too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
I feel like you can't make a killer slug movie anymore without from space without it being something like Night of the
How many of those have you seen?
Two. I think I could have seen more. I don't know. A lot of times they blend together, but I always love Night of the Creeps. Like
That's sort of Dreamcatcher, the Stephen King.
Yeah. So I've seen
The thing crawls up your butt.
right up. It
They
releases.
call
No, it
They call
releases
them ass
from your world.
suckers.
It releases from your butt. It doesn't.
I'm not even kidding. They call them ass suckers.
Yeah, they just.
Hey, Mr. Gay.
The second one is a movie I'm pretty sure you enjoyed is We Are the Flesh.
Did I see that one?
Yeah, we watched it.
We watched it for the
Yeah, a
podcast.
long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory.
Around the same time as Bite.
Oh my
Remember
god.
Bite?
Oh, I love Bite.
Yeah.
Bite ruled.
Yeah, that's the other one on the list too.
That Bite is really good. It's an underrated one. A
Just
tourist.
for the special effects though, because the story's kind
The
of
story's kind of lame. Yeah. Like a tourist goes to like a rainforest, kind of like Amazon kind of place, gets bit by something, and she slowly starts becoming a bug person.
Yes.
It's really cool.
And there's this super cool part where she literally like molts.
Yeah.
She's like-
Yeah. She's spitting out eggs. It's so cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Check that one out.
And then I went into a little J horror with Tetsuo and Tokyo Gore Police.
Oh yeah, Tetsuo the Iron Man. That
Iron
one
Man,
is
the
really
first one,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I got that one at Media Play. They had it when they were going out of business. They had a lot of import stuff that they were on like super clearance. I got
really?
that, yeah.
Was that your entire list?
I got that.
No.
Okay, I was
And
about to be very upset with
Battle
you.
Royale.
There's
Something to mind?
missing from there. Yeah,
What?
The Fly.
It's on there.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure it wasn't
there's
the
a
end of
ton
your
of
list.
Anything Cronenberg, you know.
Anything that he made in like the
Anything
80s.
David Cronenberg.
I feel though like the Fly got
Crash,
more people
too.
to watch it than just saying it's a Cronenberg movie. Like there's people like when I didn't really know who Cronenberg was when I first saw The Fly because that was back when it first came out. I loved that movie.
Oh yeah, The Fly is awesome. I love that. I love that one. I also really like what the fuck? Why can't I? Videodrome.
Videodrome. The
that
Brood.
was one of my the
Video
Brood.
Drone's gonna be it's one of the Thursday Night Terrors this new season of Thursday Night Terrors.
Ooh,
For
that
those
might
that
be-
don't know what Thursday Night Terrors is, that's
Yeah, if you don't live in Buffalo.
if you don't live in Buffalo, you wouldn't know. But like my friend Paul always wants me to go with him. But the difference is that Paul lives like 10 minutes away from the theater, and I live an hour.
And it's a Thursday.
Thursday night, yeah. It's
I
it's
could
fun to
never
go,
go.
but it has to be something. Especially like the first time I went was for They Live, which of course I had to go see because that's one of my favorite movies. And then like last season I went to see Tammy and the T-Rex because I was like, I've never seen that movie, and I know it's
awful
bad.
movie.
I know it's bad
Awful movie.
because it's funny because like they don't just
It's funny
like
bad.
for the most
but
part they
not
do
really.
older horror movies, and sometimes they'll do like new release one. But I feel like at least once every season it's a non-horror, just like last season I think they did Ninja 3, The Domination.
Oh, I love
something, which
that
is
movie. Is really.
definitely not horror.
I mean, it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
she
I
that
haven't
one.
seen it
Okay,
from-
so that one is she's possessed. It's got an exorcism
Oh, okay.
bend to it.
That's Ninja 3?
That is Ninja 3, The Dominion.
I thought that was 2.
Nope, that's Ninja 3, The Dominion.
What's Ninja 2?
I don't remember.
Ninja 3 had V8. had room temperature V8.
I think the
during
villain
sex.
of that movie, of the second one, is like the only returning character. It's a white woman. She becomes possessed by an Asian man.
Is it Cynthia
and then-
Rothrock?
I don't
She's
know,
in-
dude.
I don't know if you
It's a
remember,
canon movie.
In
I don't
like
know.
the 90s, Cynthia Rothrock was in like every karate type movie.
How the
A
fuck?
white woman.
Oh, because I got Golden going on Thursday Night Terrors.
Are you wondering how we got to Cynthia Rothrock? Yeah, anyways, yeah, Videodrome though is in Paul.
Yeah, that
Paul,
one,
like already
An
bought me a
incredible
ticket
body
to go
horror
with him.
movie. Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
Because I was like, I love that movie, The
We got some
Jacuzzi.
comments here. So this
Oh, it's Terror
says,
Was it Terradome?
Videodrome is the movie with James Woods.
I'm
That
going,
David Cronenberg.
I'm going to the wrong
what's
movie.
up, guys? What's up, Rewind? What are some of your favorite body horror films?
Oh, so society.
Look into the comment.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you asking me?
But Society's on the list as well.
Oh yeah, just
Oh yeah, we watched
Color Out of
it.
Space and
Color Out of Space. I like that one. I didn't like that one a lot, but the ending to that one was pretty awesome.
Rothrock was a beast of a woman in the 90s.
Yeah, see? Thank you. Glad someone agrees with me on that.
There we go.
Isn't she like 5 foot tall?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know who this is. Like, I bet if I. Okay, here we go. So he's bringing up a picture.
I'm bringing up IMDb, but away from the microphone.
The Blob is one that I love.
Yeah.
The 80s
Like-
remake of The Blob.
I was
I
trying
know-
to think of stuff with like specific body transformations.
Yeah, because that one's more of like a melt.
Yeah.
And
Because like
another
there's that
one.
melt scene in Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. Well, not Friday the 13th, but Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
Like
And
I know
what-
it's not a body
the hell
horror
is that
one, but
movie?
like the Stir of
Street
Echoes.
trash.
Stir of Echoes when like
Street
the fingernails and the tooth thing, which they show a couple times. That's always gets to me.
Golden, there was a scene in The Substance where it shows like the pupil split on the eye. So
Yeah, it was-
And then
did
it's-
anything for you.
No, I
They
wasn't
were
gonna have to do that.
the last one. I don't want to get into spoiler territory before we actually get into the movie.
Right.
Let's think about it.
Oh, she's in Cool Cat. Sweet. Cool Cat saves the kids. I mean, she's
She's in a
doing
movie
really
called
good.
Badass Showdown.
You're showing me movies from the 2000s. Like, I'm not going to have seen any of that shit, dude.
It's like straight to
Fine.
video stuff
It's
too.
well, that's all she really did. China O'Brien 2. I
Yeah,
bet
it
she-
looks like she's a canon person.
She was in Double Team.
No Retreat, No Surrender 2. She's on a lot of 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in Double Team.
Diary of a Lunatic.
All right, dude. I have to cut you off now. We're done. We're done with the Cynthia Rothrock talk.
Cynthia Rothrock.
I'm sure she was a hot babe.
She was. I want to say she was in a
believe
couple of movies with Cody from Step by Step. Remember they brought in that cousin? He's like super tall, and apparently he's a martial artist. And nobody knew.
The reference points you make, like,
Step by
hey,
step.
you know, okay, I know I haven't jogged your memory yet on Cynthia Rothrock, but do you remember the movies that she made with the kid from Step by Step? No, motherfucker, I don't. I don't know what the hell you.
I thought maybe that would unlock a core memory. I don't know.
Nah, dude, Step by Step was not one of my shows.
Step.
Full House, Saved by the Bell, Family Matters, the end.
That's it. You watched TV as a kid?
It was on at the same
but
time.
I watched
not same time.
I was
it
more into like Power
It
Rangers.
was part of TGIF. You're already watching 2 TGIF shows. Why wouldn't you watch that one? Just saying. That's all.
I was watching X-Files.
That's fair. I was watching TGIF. So I could get my Boy Meets World kick.
Golden, you've seen Society, right?
Oh God, yeah, we watched it for the.
Did we watch it for the podcast?
We did.
Man, my memory sucks. Dude, I was talking to
like
my
the first
brother
time
the
I'd
other
seen
day yesterday, and I was like, "Yeah, I think DC Animation is going to be doing a Long Halloween," and he's like, "Not only did they already do it, you watched it and you talked to me about it." I'm like, "You know what? I'm absolutely right." And what I said was, I wonder how they'll mess that up. And he's like, you already talked to me about how they changed the ending. I'm like, yeah, I guess I did. It does not match to what I told my brother, and I probably told you this too, about my false memory of one of the Spider-Man movies, and I want to say it was the Andrew Garfield one, where he constructs his suit out of discarded basketballs. He has like red and blue basketballs, and he makes his suit out of it. I just like vividly had this image in my mind of him like sewing his costume, and I said something to my brother like an offhanded comment. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I don't know what
And
you're
then
talking
I
about.
started Googling it. I'm like, this doesn't exist. Like, what was I imagining?
Probably had a dream or something.
What was I
In
imagining?
reality, and that's right there with mine. And I swear I've mentioned this before on the podcast.
It's a Mandela
From,
effect, big time.
The
I know. I was from this awful alternate reality where the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man made a suit out of basketballs because it was durable or something. I don't know why.
I have a super vivid memory of Independence Day at the end. Randy Quaid showed
Yeah,
up.
we talked about this before.
Yeah. And everybody's like, that never happened. I'm like, yes, it did. Like, it was so clear in my memory that I was arguing with people. I'm like, you clearly didn't watch the right cut of the movie.
You couldn't understand him dying. It just couldn't sit well with you.
I just remember him showing up, dragging his parachute.
Let me see some of those other movies
talked
we got
about them.
on there.
talked
What
about
do we got on that
time
body
left.
order? We got so we got the fly. Teeth.
Oh, I forgot about teeth.
Oh, teeth. Vagina denture. Right? Is it that movie?
Yeah, there's they just came out with a musical of it. I heard it's really good.
What did you say?
There's a musical of Teeth.
Detentia?
Denture, yes. I don't know. Vagina. It was teeth in her vagina. I remember that.
Stealth hunt.
Yeah, there's a musical of it. The soundtrack's on Spotify.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seriously.
Cool. I didn't know they made a musical about it.
Anymore.
Was that on Broadway?
Good.
I think it was off Broadway.
I was gonna say, I don't
I
think
mean,
it
it
made
was
it to
like
Broadway.
it was a pretty
Because it seems pretty
Popular.
risque for Broadway.
Right. Today on Broadway, the vagina that eats people. Ta-da!
like a grindhouse trailer.
She had a vagina.
The pussy
It had
that ate.
Don't
The pussy that
come
craved
inside.
human flesh.
Cold.
Don't.
Yeah, but then there's like the melt movies, which are kind of horror.
Yeah, like the
kind
Melting
of
Man.
body horror, Melting Man, Street Trash. I have not watched the new one. They had a remake. It's on
Yeah,
Screenbox.
yeah, I see that.
The guys that did the dude that did Uncle Peckerhead did it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we really like that one. That one's
Yeah.
kind of a
Golden,
body
have you
horror
watched
a
that
little
yet?
bit.
Uncle Peckerhead? Not yet. It was recommended, but I just haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I definitely
thought-
recommended
to me,
that.
it was him, yeah.
I definitely recommended that movie to you. 'Cause it's one of those movies that has a band in it, and the band's music actually doesn't suck.
So
Like it's actually like good,
was
like
it?
cool music in it too.
Dead and Breakfast, I want to say.
It's really funny.
was a movie that had a band in it. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
They were
that-
also the
I
narrators.
haven't seen that
The
movie.
band was the
They
narrator.
have a band in it.
He's like, we're gonna play a song. Bring a man a dead and breakfast. That's nothing near the song, but
We also reviewed a movie a short while ago that had a band in it. Remember where he hijacks?
We Destroy All Neighbors.
oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, the movie was awesome.
God, I love that movie. Destroy All Neighbors was so.
I actually kind of forgot that came out this year. Because we
is that
reviewed
just-
it at like January because it came out, I think, in the beginning of
Was that
last year.
2024?
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the first ones we did last year. One of the only
The spin-off
or
of
earlier
Bill and
this
Ted's
year, I
Excellent
should say.
Adventures.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted. Excellent Adventures. Spin-off.
Golden, what are your expectations going into a body horror film?
Oh, I mean, see, my problem with it is it's too easy for like the movies to be like, hey, we're going to rely on this being gross and not give you a story. So pretty much any body horror movie I go into, I have very low expectations because that's just what I worry about because so many of them do it. But this one, I really, a lot of good ones have that story, and the gross out stuff is just kind of part of it, not the focus.
Practical effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to be practical.
Do you expect to be grossed out, Mr. Sir? Or you just want to see some really cool
I want to see some really cool
on-screen magic?
Yeah, I want to see some cool practical effects. I want to see like something happen where that just looks fucking awesome on camera. Like that's why a lot of the examples that we gave of good body horror movies, most of them are from the 80s, like the golden ages, like those practical effects. You only start getting them again when filmmakers are starting to realize, like a lot in the more indie horror filmmakers are going back to doing practical effects again, like Fede Alvarez, who did like that's a good like what worked a lot in Alien Romulus for me was the practical effects, the practical face huggers, like a guy in a suit. I think that stuff just looks better.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if Jurassic Park was made with CG, it wouldn't be such a cornerstone.
What do you mean?
Cinema.
It was.
I've seen a giant fucking dinosaur.
There was CGI in Jurassic Park.
It was, but it was like the dinosaurs weren't CG.
See,
they were practical.
Like I'm not telling you anything you don't know already, but like to kind of like meet you two in the middle is there is CGI stuff in Jurassic Park, obviously, but like a good portion of what makes you believe that those animals are alive, the dinosaurs are the practical effects. Stan Winston's his whole thing, and like a lot of the stuff where it is CG, they were augmenting it with something that was practically there on set and stuff. So it just looks like that's the reason why like Jurassic Park 1 just looks and feels more believable than Jurassic World Dominion or whatever, when it's just fully gone into cartoon territory.
Like with practical effects, if practical effects are done well, they still look believable years from now. But meanwhile,
I mean, there's just something to be said about like an interacting.
There's an art to it.
Like
not that there's an art to CGI, but there's it.
There is, but it's relying on technology that gets
analog,
outdated like in no time.
Yeah, it's like I know this is my personal opinion, but like that's why something like Empire Strikes Back looks infinitely better than Phantom Menace to me. Like once you enter, or not even Phantom Menace, maybe a better example would be Revenge of the Sith, where everything is just green screen, or Lord of the Rings versus The Hobbit, where instead of Peter Jackson toiling for a year and a half on getting making sure that all the stuff was set up so they could do everything, most of the stuff on screen. The Hobbit, where everything is green screen, it just looks like absolute hell. It just looks like a video game cutscene as opposed to something that had time and craft put into it. And that's how
and the horror genre suffers from that, especially because the budgets are so dismal in comparison to
action
blockbusters.
So like to do a practical effect, you got that's like most of your budget there if you want something that looks good or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got to make it count.
And that's why you get that's why I think practical always, well, I shouldn't say always. That's why practical effects usually look better.
Yeah.
In the horror genre.
Yeah. And there's guys that do that really well where they blend the CGI and
like Robert Hall did.
Yeah. And like I said, Fede Alvarez with his, Evil Dead, like there's CGI in that, but you couldn't really tell that much because they merged it with practical effects, and it just looks
well, like good. The blood rain, you can kind of tell.
Well, yeah.
But no, I know what you're saying though. You're absolutely right. So, Mr. Sir, how did you come about the substance? Like, where did you first hear about it? Because you kind of stumbled onto it before it was making like big waves on even like Bloody Disgusting or anything.
I heard about it. David Sims talked about it on Blank Check. Like I said, they do advertisements for a movie, and they've had those ads. They've been one of their sponsors for years. So, and they were talking about this new horror movie that they're getting starring Demi Moore, and I want to say somebody on the Blank Check subreddit posted about it, and they're like, I just got back from an early screening of The Substance. It's not exactly what you think it is. The ending kind of gets in Malignant territory, and I mean that in a good way. Now, what I mean, like Malignant territory, that's the movie that I kind of thought of after I watched it. I was like, oh, goddamn, that is like how Malignant just kind of leads you in thinking that it's one kind of movie, and then right at the end, it just kind of fucking punches you with like craziness. Which, if you haven't seen Malignant, go watch that James Wan's 2021 horror movie. It's a great throwback to like late 80s, like crazy slashers. I liked it a lot. The Substance fucking rips. I like that. I love this movie.
You know how I normally don't. I try to have as little information as possible going into a movie, especially if it's something that's like highly recommended. So I had no idea Demi Moore was in this movie until.
Oh yeah. Okay.
See, I went in super cold because I was
or Dennis
all
Quaid.
I had was I saw a teaser early on that was literally like you wouldn't even know it was a horror movie based on a teaser. It was just Demi Moore and Quaid, and that was it.
Oh right.
And, like them talking. And then and of course, like I heard people saying, "Oh, it's such a good horror movie," and then heard people saying like the ending's crazy, and that's all I knew going in. I knew it was called The Substance. It was a body horror,
and then I loved it. And
it was like, so then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, like I planned on watching it. It was one of those where I keep checking like my Roku app to see where it is. Mm-hmm. Can I watch this yet? Can I watch this? So then I was glad that we could watch it for this. And yeah, I went in like
I
super
insisted
cold,
on it.
and then it was. Yeah,
I didn't have to twist his arm very hard. I was like, "This movie fucking rules. You're gonna love it."
It's funny because you're talking about Malignant.
Well,
I was watching the show called Laid, which is a very weird show about this girl finds out everyone she's ever slept with is dying now, like they're dying from random events. And one of the things she shows is her breaking up with her boyfriend because he kept calling the character Malignant. And she's like, "That's not the name of the character." He's like, "I don't know, it's Malignant." And then that just made me think of mine and Aaron's arguments all the time.
Oh yeah, Halloween.
I'm like
the character Halloween of the Halloween series.
I only refer to
Nightmare.
Which in those new movies it makes that make sense. Halloween ends. Halloween kills. He does that whole fuckload of that.
When the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game first came out, by the way, we're not sure for it.
Oh, that is cool. I saw the back.
People would. They probably weren't like huge horror fans or whatever, but they would call Leatherface Texas. Like, oh, Texas is coming.
Well, that's what I'm going to be calling him from now on.
That's his name. He's Texas. Remember when Bill Moseley played Chainsaw?
Yeah.
And then it was the old guy who was with Massacre.
Bill Moseley's in the game, but he doesn't play Chop Top. They couldn't get the rights to him. So he's a character called Bones. Yeah. It's cool, though. It works.
I can't believe they got Bill Moseley. He's a tough guy to get. Especially for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he would say yes to anything.
dude.
I mean, if they asked him today, if they were able to get the rights to Chopped Off and asked him to do a movie, he would say
He
yes.
played Drayton Sawyer and he hated it, but he still did it.
Yeah.
Well, he said he didn't know till he got on the set that he was playing Drayton, but in Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Barf. Bad movie.
Why are so many horror?
I'm so
franchises
disappointed
bad
we
once
didn't
they
get to
go 3D?
review
We're
that
getting
one
to
a
it.
second time.
We are. We
Like,
are.
3D in a horror movie feels like it should be like the best thing ever, but I always feel like
It usually
every
is.
series out there, as soon as they're like, "Yeah, this one's 3D," everybody's like, "Fuck."
The only one I saw,
Jaws 3D.
I mean, the one that I saw that was Jaws 3D is your example.
Freddy's dead. I'm saying the examples of the bad ones. Like it's like they end up being like the worst.
One
in
of the Final
series.
Destination movies was in 3D, and I thought that one was really done really well. I like that one. I think one of the Saws, but I didn't see that one in theaters.
My Bloody Valentine was in 3D.
I
Yeah, a
remember
lot
that
of the
was
times
for
the
it.
kills are like, "Oh, I'm coming right in your face."
At some point, someone will hold a tomato and crush
Or
it.
here comes the axe.
Yeah, when he hooks the
Pickaxe.
Atkins under the jaw and it's like,
I love when you watch them like without 3D and you're like, oh, like
I mean, it's really
Freddy's
obvious.
Dead. Freddy's dead when they're like puts on the glove and he's like, "Whoa," and it's like, okay, stop. I don't have 3D, damn it.
golden.
It's all lost on me.
Okay.
Friday the 13th 3D was another one where like
Yeah, the
watching
arrow
it,
comes
it's-
to
yeah.
right to
All
the
this stuff's happening, you're
screen.
like,
on the line.
oh, I bet you this was really cool in 3D.
They didn't have
I
they
had no third
they weren't
dimension.
really thinking about home video back then.
I had
Yeah, it
to
was
see
more for the drive-in experience. So, Golden, first thoughts. You watch The Substance, shut off the movie. What's going through your head?
My biggest question is, and maybe this is that I don't have the same point of view because I grew up hideous, so I've never had vanity. I don't understand why she kept going through with it because she wasn't even getting the experiences that her other self
That was very
of being
confusing.
popular. Like, because they even showed it. They made sure to show that she had to watch the interviews to see what happened. She got glimpses of it.
'Cause
in
until that
dreams,
part, I
but
thought she
wasn't
did.
feeling it. Exactly. So why keep going through this? Why keep putting yourself through this for someone else to get fame, and you just sit around eating rotisserie chickens?
I honestly okay.
That was my biggest question that I got from the whole thing.
Because at first, I don't know if it's just the psychosis of having to juggle being two different people, and then one person's life is awesome and the other person's life sucks, and then that's just taking a toll on you. Because at first, that is not the case that she's two different people. Like at first, it's very obvious. Like she's like, oh, this is me. This is my new body that I have that I use for a week or whatever. But as time goes on, it seems like she's like becoming more and more separated where, well, I don't want. All right. So I'm just we're going to get into spoilers. You absolutely should watch this movie before you
Oh, yeah,
listen
absolutely.
to the rest of the podcast.
This is a movie that you
fucking
have to go in
rules.
cold.
It's awesome. Go
Gotta
in
go
as
in
cold as you want. I'm about to start spoiling it. So if you haven't watched this movie, pause the pod and then come back when
Okay,
you're on.
we'll wait.
So it becomes like it doesn't really feel like it feels like she's doing it to herself up until like the twist in the third act when she goes to kill her other self and she can't do it, and then the other self springs to life. Like I wasn't sure if that was like the only part that I was kind of confused about, but in the reality of the movie where everything is so heightened and everything and everything is it's like a stylized it's not our Earth. It's like a definitely like some sort of weird alternate Earth where there's still like exercise shows that are the most insanely popular thing on the planet.
I felt like it was just like
It wasn't even
the
actually
80s.
popular. It was just like I wonder. I don't even know if it was.
Like, let's see these hot chicks bounce their asses around. Like that was like the show.
It was.
But
Yeah, but that's not what I'm arguing. But I'm just saying, like,
okay.
because like the ratings were low for um
Elizabeth stars.
Elizabeth shows. Yeah,
Elizabeth Sparkle.
Sparkle.
Elizabeth Sparkle.
Then,
Sparkle.
and I was a little confused by the New Year's Eve show on national television that was just tits out.
Again, like that
Like,
was the
all
thing
the
that
dancers-
I was
like,
really
I was like,
confused
all
about.
those dancers are topless. This is
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to
they
be a
weren't.
New Year's Eve
Yeah,
national
she, like-
television show.
Grew a tit and it
Well, that too.
fell
Well,
out.
I
with,
didn't
like,
mean
a
Oh no,
umbilical
the,
cord.
I don't
the,
mean
the backup
her.
dancers were topless.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean like
Yeah,
when
I didn't
she
understand that either.
she vomited a tit, right? Wasn't or how did the tit? I remember the
I don't know if that was like a
Can't remember
mouth
where
or
it
Came
what.
out of her shoulder.
came out. That's right. It was like a pimple. They had a tit inside it.
I just fell
It just
out.
landed on the stage, and everybody's like,
It was like an overfilled water balloon.
it's like two sandbags. Why would you say sandbags, you idiot?
She took calmer tits
One,
seriously.
one thing that I do
literally.
want to, when did that one sound all of a sudden become, this is what we put in horror movies to be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of
Like
that.
I don't like that. Like, and I don't mean like I don't like it like it puts me on edge and all. I mean I just don't like hearing.
I
in a
love
horror
that
movie.
sound. I can't.
It's like
And
come on.
you are not.
could do better.
Oh well, so Smile 2. That is like it's soundtracked by that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
But I thought it was really effective and cool. I really liked like the opening of Smile 2 when the fucking music just kicks in. I was like, yes, I'm pumping my fists. I'm like, this rules.
It's like,
I
this
feel
is how
so
I know it's
menaced
gonna
right
be
now.
Scary is that they played the sound.
I feel menaced as fuck right now. My mom, I watched that movie with my mom because she was like, "Oh, I haven't seen this yet." And I already watched it. I was like, "Okay, let's go." She's like, "Oh, that music it just makes me feel on edge," and I'm like, "That's the point of it."
It is, but I think I feel like
It's
at
doing
this point,
its job.
it just pisses me off now at this point. So it's like it doesn't even put me on edge. I'm just like, God damn it!
Nah, I love it.
I was like, don't
Keep
tell
putting
me
it in
what's
there.
scary.
The Golden's referencing the substance commercial that's inside of the movie.
Yeah.
Where you've put in the thumb drive and give you the instructions on how to get the substance.
Their customer service is horrible.
Coralie Faja. Is her name Coralie?
I think so, yeah.
It's
The
Elizabeth
director,
Sparkle.
writer.
Yeah, because you had me at that once you told me that it was the director of
Revenge.
Because I really enjoyed that movie a lot.
I liked it too. I watched it after I watched The Substance. I was like, oh, it's a
Which
female
is crazy
director.
because I think I told you about that movie.
You told me about it when it
1,000
came
times.
when it
He's
came
like, you
out.
told me about it, and I was like, fucking Anthony doesn't know good
Well,
movies.
here's the thing. It's one of those. It's like a I spit on your grave kind of movie, but it's made by a woman. So like the assault part is not
There's
fetishized or
different
anything. It's
aspects that
very
are focused on in comparison,
yes.
which is kind of cool. And you kind of get this, like the part she decides to focus on in this movie is very interesting compared to what I feel like a man would try to focus on. You know?
Yeah, I mean that. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of just shots of hot women in this movie, but
But look how she chooses to show
exactly.
beauty,
Yes,
you know?
yeah. And exactly like that.
Like
That was
which
how
angles
what I
and
really.
which shapes of the body. You know,
That's what I really appreciated about it.
she
And
really likes showing
market qualities.
the dynamics and contrast between asses.
Yes,
So look at this ass. It has a chicken leg in it.
that was her belly button.
No, she
Oh
moved it
yeah,
out of
yeah,
her
no,
ass.
yeah.
It
What it popped.
started in her ass.
That was like a.
She moved it
I
up.
now
to the
and
belly
that I couldn't tell if that was a dream or if that.
That was a
actually
dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the first time I watched this movie a couple times. The first time I watched it, I was a little confused.
Because that's the only thing. Like, because I was trying to figure out. I thought she was in control in the beginning, and then stuff happened as we correlated. So I think the dream sequences was supposed to be like a transition for like when the memory started separating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I agree with you. I feel like the more and more they got separated as entities, the more they had to like understand what the other one went through by getting these like bursts in dreams.
And the great thing this movie does is it's like the duality of young versus old. And I don't mean from like necessarily like
Just on
a
this
Gen Z to boomer generation. But I mean like within ourselves, you know, like
Yeah.
and it's not something that I think a younger person would understand. It was something when you start getting close to middle life, you start to understand a lot more. You see the difference in age, right? Because everyone's old to you until you're like 30.
Right, exactly. Like I didn't I didn't start seeing everybody as kids until like a couple years ago. And now like somebody that's in their like early to mid 20s, I'm just like, you are a child.
And,
That's like
and what's one of the best metaphors for age that we see is a cocoon, right? I mean, hence the movie Cocoon that deals with old age when people wanting to become young again.
they were younger than me.
This movie uses
Wilford Brimley was
the
younger.
human body, the female body as a cocoon for a younger woman. You know,
Yeah.
So I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, and to touch on the body horror aspect, I thought everything that was done in this movie was fucking effective. It looked cool. Everything was done really awesome. And like to like tide you over until the finale, they do put in these dream sequences and stuff, like when she unzips the back and her guts fucking fall out of the back, and the chicken wing sequence, as we said earlier.
She just moves it up.
And how Demi Moore as Sue keeps taking more and more of her life, she becomes more and more witch looking.
She
looks like a
literally
goblin
looked like
woman.
Looked like the characters from the movie Witches.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
Also speaking like, and maybe I'm the only one that felt like the same guy, but you know, when as Demi, she ran into that guy that was like, "You'll always be beautiful."
Yeah.
For some reason, the vibes I got for him were the guy from Groundhog Day. That you know who I'm talking about? Like that felt like that's what it was. Like just the smiling guy by the mud puddle, no less. And I don't know. I just like when I saw that. That's for some reason where my brain went. Like, oh, it's the same guy.
So important to the movie because it's what the whole movie is about, and its perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's all beauty is.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably wouldn't have felt she was still beautiful by the end of the movie, like when she was
at that point, all
the metaphor for the whole entire film.
Yeah, because at that point, all that happened was her finger.
Her finger looked dead,
but she had a glove on, so he couldn't tell that she had that one gross finger. Like me.
But you know what I mean? Like, so like at the end of the movie, when Monstrasso, what is it? The name?
Eliza Sue.
Eliza Sue is there wearing Elizabeth Starr's face, like Deadpool style. It's all about perspective there.
I loved how she put a veil over the other face.
It's like the ultimate metaphor of the of the movie is that beauty isn't on the outside or the inside. It's just perspective.
When they put up titles at the first beginning, when there's like Elizabeth Sparkle and then Sue, I was like, they're just gonna only have the two. And I was like, when they brought it back for the third one, it was like, yes. I was fucking hooting and hollering. I was standing up and cheering.
I was waiting for that. I thought it was gonna come a lot sooner, just because it said the label on the bottle specifically said throw away after use.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna come back later. That was okay. So obviously,
also that rug. Like you have to be blind not to notice that it's like very, very shining.
Oh yeah.
In the hallway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude! But the cool thing they did you notice that like they instead of having the typical design, they split that into two. From The Shining, like if you look at the rug pattern and you look at the one in the movie, it's split down the middle.
I'll have to. I didn't notice that. Like I obviously picked up on The Shining.
I was trying to look for anything split ever since the egg in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, when they showed
the yolk, yeah.
Out of all the body horror in the movie, the most disgusting part was when Dennis Quaid was eating the shrimp.
Yeah. Which I thought was...
That shit was fucking nasty, dude. I was wanting to puke.
I was like, what the hell is he dipping the shrimp? Is it some kind of butter or something?
Yeah, it's like butter sauce.
Yeah, it was
so
hilarious
fucking
because
gross.
Like this is a body horror movie and you know you're about to see some gross body shit, and they just started off with just very close up, and the sound like they clearly put the boom mic right on the fucking shrimp, and he's just like.
If you like that kind of shit, you should definitely watch Revenge. That director loves like those kind of like intense close-ups on stuff.
Just Dennis Quaid just
That was
eating
my
shrimp.
that was my biggest pet peeve was how was the way that this was aesthetically cut. It was too Instagram-ish, like it was just quick cut, and then I just felt like she, like, with the metaphor she had going on, and everything she had on the screen, she just needed to capture more of it, and it just every time she would get like a little bit into depth of what was going on in the scene, it would cut to something else.
Now, me, a
it was
big dumb guy,
fast-paced.
I thought it was really cool. I liked the way
Like-
it looked. I like the way the movie looks. Everything is looks shiny
But
and
it's
bright.
just that
Can we-
I can't stand the ADHD style,
Can we talk about the amazing
fair.
construction abilities?
especially in like a
Those two.
symbolic movie like this.
Oh yeah,
Like she was just, to me, inner beauty or whatever the thing was supposed to be, and then she's just like, I'm gonna build a fucking separate room through my bathroom on my
but
own.
she's like good at everything. Like that's kind of
Shit.
the point of it's like the best version of you. So maybe if Demi Moore had like any kind of construction abilities, she would have expert carpenter skills.
How about the
Was that the case?
I don't know. Like that's my explanation for how
I
that
didn't
was able
get
to
that,
happen.
but I don't think it would be that difficult to build that room.
I
just-
wouldn't be able
to just break down a wall and build a room with a hidden door in your tiled bathroom?
Maybe
Especially in the
I mean
age of
maybe
YouTube.
and you know what?
This
maybe
wasn't the age of YouTube though.
maybe
This is
it's
like alternate 80s.
you know what? Maybe we're
No,
all,
she was from the
maybe
80s.
maybe Gold and I are being misogynistic because we see a hot girl and we're like, well, there's absolutely no way that she could build that
But she
room.
had a cell phone. a
Well, she was able to cash paychecks.
Smartphone.
Like I don't know how
Yeah.
she wouldn't have a social security number.
Can we?
That's what I wondered too. It's like, I
The-
was
the
waiting for
movie-
the issue to come up, and I'm so glad
the
they
mo-
didn't do it because it would
Yeah,
have
because
dulled
the
it
movie
down.
was not interested in answering those
But
questions.
when she got called in the office, I'm like, okay, they're gonna say like
That
she has
was-
no record
That
of
was the
existing.
what I
shittiest
thought
way to
as
tell
well.
someone that they got promoted. By the way, just she shows up on set. They're like, "Yeah, this shit's canceled,"
It's all about this.
and the boss needs you in his
It's
office.
all about this shitty existence of we talked about the perspective of beauty, and when it's laying in the hands of authority, and it happens to be these douchebag male characters, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like a representation of Hollywood.
Yeah,
I
like
can only imagine how. Listen, I just came from a job where like I was gaslighted and shit, and it was just a terrible experience.
Was it your workout show?
I
You
can't
look really good in those
imagine going through
leotards.
Hollywood because it's a million times worse
yeah.
than anything like that.
And again, like when I'm saying,
the most unrealistic part of the whole movie was that Dennis Quaid's character was only lecherous and not rapey.
that is true. I was waiting for it to become. way
I
more
honestly
rapey.
was appreciated that because it would have it would have made the movie a little too serious for like the kind of movie it's trying to be.
Right.
Ooh, feathers.
The, and again, that's
Shot behind
Yes,
him.
this is
like when I said
weird
that,
old man.
about how I don't understand why she kept doing it, and I first of all, like right away said, but I grew up hideous because I think a big part of why she kept doing it was the fact that she's used to being in the spotlight. So even if she doesn't get to experience the spotlight, she knows that's her that's getting it. So I kind of get that, but like me as a person who's never been looked after for my looks, I would have
did
cut
that
this program
change?
off right away.
For you.
Well,
Like, how old
once
were you when you started getting good looking?
I'll let you know when it happens.
Your
I feel like it's way downhill for now, but
And at first, when before Sue showed up, and it's that right before she takes the substance, and she's completely naked in the bathroom. I was like, they're not doing a very good job of like showing like, oh, Demi Moore, look how old and gross she is. Like,
I don't think.
but
they wanted to.
no, and as I kept watching the movie, I'm like, oh, that wasn't what they were trying to show.
Yeah.
But they did want to show like, you think she's hot? Check out Margaret Qualley.
And also, like,
I was like,
look at-
okay, you
I
got
feel
me.
like they did a really good job of showing her aged. Remember,
I think what they did a good
Yeah, what she
job.
had like it wasn't like flattering or anything, and she has like gray hairs. And
I think it
stuff.
was more of not you looking at her. Like they wanted you to look at her and be like, well, she's still really fucking hot. But they were also at the same time showing how she was perceiving herself.
Right.
And I think that was kind of the point
Yeah.
of it was
Perspective, right?
she thinks
I'm giving
she's
the dumb
old
guy
and
perspective.
hideous.
You're not.
Like even though she's
giving your
got
perspective,
wonderful
which is
boobs. But
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was the point of it was to show you like because that's the whole thing with body dysmorphia is
Yeah, that's
when
a
they're
big
standing looking
of
in
the
a mirror,
movie.
they see something completely different. Like she,
right. When she's getting ready for the date with her old classmate, and she just keeps going back, and she's like keeps taking off makeup, putting more makeup on, putting on more stuff, and she just doesn't think that she looks good. Obviously, this guy, he's like she calls him, and he like doesn't say anything because he's so in shock that she's actually calling him back and wants to hang out with him.
especially because like when the phone number got dropped in the mud puddle, like you could tell he already was like, she's not gonna call me. Why?
Yeah.
Let's not make
Yeah.
more of this.
I was
Let's
like,
just
why
be
would
okay with
he
it."
pick that up again? And I was like, hey, he probably thinks she's not gonna anyways.
Yeah.
And you could tell that by the way he was like, "What?" on the phone, and then I'm sure his fucking life got completely ruined when she didn't show
my
up.
God.
Like,
And then she just doesn't exist anymore after that in the movie. Like Sue kind of takes over after that point.
oh yeah,
a little
because she
bit.
keeps
yeah.
draining and like literally, like the substance has the worst customer service ever.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
She's like, they call it. She calls up. She's like, "Whoa, she took extra time. Remember, there's no her in you." Click.
Well, clearly she was just a test subject. Like, I don't even think she was paying for that, was she?
That was the one thing that was not clear about, because the other guy he's using the guy that gives her the card and everything to call about the substance. He's working as a nurse, like, so he just worked like that was his dream, was to become a nurse, I guess, or whatever.
No, I don't
He
think
could
that
be,
was
like
the case.
very
I
poor, and like that was his payment to be able to do that. Was his other self had to recruit.
I thought that he was the one that developed the serum, and he was checking on her to see how it was working. Because the only reason I thought that was because he checks out her spine when she's in the doctor's office, and she says, "What's wrong?" He says, "Nothing. It's perfect." And you have to draw the fluid from the
Plus,
spine.
the
That was
other
one of
self
the
comes out of the spine.
So what engrossed you out more? That was it, the fingernails?
The fingernails are so overdone.
like I felt like
In
nothing
movies.
in it really got
Ear
me.
falling off.
Like the one of my favorite of the body horror scene was the chicken leg thing. Just like something
Just
about
pull it right
watching it just the whole thing, pushing it up from like this lump in her ass all the way around and then pulling it out through her belly button, and it's just an
I thought her
entire
hip
chicken
bone
leg.
broke or something.
I thought her like something ripped in it, and like and that's why, and that scene where like they're like, "Oh, let's bring up monitor 2 on the thing," and I'm just like waiting, like, are we gonna see something horrific here? And they kept that tension going. Then it was she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let me go in the other room and work this chicken wing out of my ass," which is weird because you would have thought that the easier exit was right there. Like, why work your way up to the belly button? Just pop it right out the booty hole. It's right there. I'm just saying. She has exits. Why go to the belly button?
The forbidden exit.
I got nothing for that.
I'm just saying, if you're trying to hurry up and get an entire chicken leg out of you, and it's in your butt, why work its way around to your belly?
The other thing that worked good for them, a metaphor of the aging, was the star on the sidewalk. You get to see how it was made and what it goes through. Dude, how gross was it when that guy dropped that hamburger on it, though?
Yeah.
Just
That was probably the only gross part for me.
he's like, you should be eating that.
He should have picked up and ate it.
That's that 5-second rule.
But you know what? The guy actually did try. It's that I'm thinking like,
Picked
I
it back up.
yeah,
You
I'm
didn't-
like, I probably would have just left it there
Yeah, I wouldn't.
right.
I mean, like, well,
Uh,
that's
Now it's gone forever.
for the birds now.
Yep. Elizabeth Sparkle can eat it now.
But you get this aspect where it's broken and her face lands on the star, or doesn't land on it. Elizabeth's face,
Slats on it.
yeah, crawls over it, and she has this false perspective, and then it fades away, and you get the reality again that it's just this worn, broken sidewalk. I thought that was such a great final touch for the
It
film.
was.
Yeah.
It was. I like the beginning to end type thing on that. Yeah. What a place for her to end. It was her epitome of stardom.
Well, yeah, that was the whole point, was that she was delusional.
Yeah,
And I don't know if that's a metaphor for plastic surgery. I don't want to really touch on that too much because it's
who knows?
Yeah.
I'm obviously somebody knows.
yeah.
Like, not us.
Not me. I'm not qualified.
I don't understand.
This wasn't made in a lab,
philosophy on
that's
it
for sure.
enough to really talk about that, but it felt like there was something there. And that was the whole idea of the substance, was a proxy for plastic surgery.
The substance also looks like their reanimator shit.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I thought that was cool.
There's so many good nods in there to different horror films, which I appreciated. Tons and tons and tons of stuff in there.
I like how straightforward and simple the instructions are. They're like,
Yeah.
first, you do this, then you do this, then every 7 days.
No exception.
It's idiot proof, which
Well.
is the only kind of people that would do the substance are idiots.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Just like once you start, like
It sounds too good to be true. It always is.
it all.
7
It started
days
off
on,
so
7 days
nice,
off is
and then
difficult.
which is funny too, because like she brings that up. She's like, yeah, I can only work for 7 days, then I'm gone for 7 days to take care of my mom because she's only sick every 7. Like, or was she trying to say like,
Well, maybe
she had a
she's
sibling
swapping
that
off.
does the
Yeah,
other?
that's what I figured.
But it was just like, and it's so funny that he's like, okay, like, whatever you need, we'll do that for you. And then it's like,
Pretty girls always smile.
pretty girls should always smile. How about the close-up view of him when he was pissing, just like in his face, taking the phone call, and I'm just like, Jesus.
Well, it was just meant to be dark and dirty because of what he was saying,
Yeah, and he's a gross guy.
He really was in his plaid suits. I love those plaid suits, honestly. I wear them.
So, what did you guys think about the finale?
So that's a lot of problems I have with more modern horror movies is when they go from like 5 and just ramp it up to 11. Like Ready or Not kind of killed that for me at the end. This one was it was okay. Like it didn't take me out of it as much just because of how heavily metaphored the whole entire film was. Oh my god,
Felt very Carrie to me. Obviously, like the crowd and the blood and the.
Yeah, there was definitely some Carrie overtones. I
sorry,
was thinking
we got spam in the chat. I thought we got a comment.
no.
Take
yeah,
care for the substance.
I loved it. I thought that was
Yeah.
so fucking cool. The monster was cool. When they cut her off, and she just starts spraying blood everywhere, and she grows a new head. I thought that shit was rad. I thought all that stuff was really cool. I don't know how she,
It really
like,
was.
she
just
really
an
got away
existential
with like
plot.
getting there so like undetected for such a long time. That was very funny. to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I did. I definitely felt it was earned. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
for
they
sure.
didn't- Like they really earned it throughout
It
all
didn't-
the tension throughout the movie.
Yeah, it wasn't just coming out of nowhere. I felt like I wasn't expecting that, but I knew something like they have to be building to something. The movie has not shown me to be that it's incompetently made or anything like that up until this point. So I had a certain expectation, and it in my opinion it exceeded it. I thought it was
if
awesome.
Didn't have that whole beauty perspective. And don't get me wrong, I thought that's awesome. I think in Ready or Not, the effects on that where they explode.
It's a monster, kill it. And he starts
The other thing
spinning
about
around,
that-
spraying blood everywhere.
was it got a little too goofy with some of the reactions in the crowd.
But I think throughout
The
the
naked
movie,
women
the
were
crowd
okay to
has
look
been-
at, but they shielded the children's eyes from the
Well, that was
from
the
hideous
start of it.
freak.
Even that was off-putting. It's like,
I think
on
that
what
was
is this being filmed on TV or is this just in
live-
theater?
it was live national
That's what I
television.
thought.
from what they made it sound.
how is that live?
It seemed like
Live on Cinemax.
But I think it's because they were
Spike
building
TV
a
or some
world.
shit like that.
They were
Guy,
trying to
the
build a
Guys
world.
channel.
Because yeah, I feel like they were trying, like throughout the whole movie, they were building a world where this is just what entertainment is and how people.
Yeah, I
perceive it.
bought into it because it was just like such a heightened reality where like their top show was like Pump It Up
Yeah,
with some girl that you've never heard of that
was
just
just
has
for that
one
channel,
name
yeah,
with
yeah.
Sue. It was big enough to have like this gigantic fucking billboard.
right outside her window. God damn it! She just had to keep looking at it. Send her over the edge
She did post newspaper on the glass to block it.
after throwing egg at it.
But yeah. I do wonder. I didn't even see who did the effects for this movie.
I didn't either.
No.
No, I did not.
I wonder if there's even. Yeah, I don't want to speculate at all.
Like, so if they kept sticking to the rules,
Chiodo
would they have been able to
Brothers.
do it forever?
Well, I
I
think
mean,
until she died.
Yeah, I think in theory, as long as you don't go insane from doing like the process of going back and forth,
Start stealing time.
which she did like fucking instantly, by the way. Like the second week she did it, she stole time from her.
Like, why try to get laid on the night that you know you have to switch?
I know, it's just like
So irresponsible.
exactly like it's like such an
Practice
insanely
safe sex.
selfish,
If
weird
you're going
thing
to be
do.
switching back to your other body, make sure you don't have
Because it felt like at that point it felt like she was just like, well, it is me. I'll just take a little bit. What can be the harm for taking an hour or whatever?
Yeah.
And then she realized what she did, and then she blamed anybody but herself.
I felt it was really weird that they never really communicated with each other. Like, you feel like you would,
Write a note.
yeah,
or
write
whatever.
notes, do
No,
something that was like, hey,
They did it. They did it in a bitchy roommate way, where
Yeah.
everything was extremely passive aggressive, and it was just they don't talk to each other. They just do fucked up things to each other, just to see what the other person does.
Yeah, and the one time that they have a chance to is when the fight or flight syndrome kicks in for Emily or Sue.
Yeah, and then she just like fucking karate kicks her through the fucking wall and fucking smashes her face 1,000 times.
I'm like, at what point are you gonna stop and realize I need to keep this chick alive so I don't die?
obviously that wasn't going through her head.
No, I mean she was pure adrenaline when she seen that
It's
termination.
also like,
Maybe don't label the needle that either.
This black goo.
and I feel like also it's with them not actually experiencing everything that's going on, everything with the other one really, because they weren't for a while there. I feel like it's less likely that you start trying to steal time from the other person, because it's like you don't exist
Yeah.
during the week that you're not
Well, I mean,
existing. It's not like they have to be sitting in that room
You're
Well,
not
then-
conscious.
doing nothing for a week.
Like we talked about, it's like a cartoon world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so
Over exploited, yeah.
So going by like what I thought originally and what I still kind of think is going on is like she just went nuts from it. Like it became a thing where she wasn't even existing on the weeks that she wasn't Sue. Like she just like lived in her house, ate fucking junk food all the day long, just trashed the whole place, watched TV.
You don't have to sell me on it anymore. I'm already down.
And then and then when she was Sue, she like that was the only time that she like was alive, but she resented her other self for not. It just became like this and like this
Yeah.
like this vicious cycle of self-loathing from this alternate person that is supposed to be the better you, and you're just not. You're just hating this person. You're hating yourself, kind of.
Has Demi Moore been in anything recently besides this?
No, she kind of retired from acting for a while. I think this is the first thing she's done in
Well,
quite a few years.
They talk about that at the dinner scene. Like after 50, you lose it, and she's like, "Lose what?" But you know, it's
Well,
it's
also
even younger for women. than it is for men.
I think she took some time off as well to like take care of Bruce Willis a little bit, because he's like, I don't want to talk about Bruce
But like,
Willis at
but
all,
she stopped
like, I
before
feel
that
bad for
though.
him.
She hadn't been anything for a long time before that.
No, but they have kids together, and they seem like they were like very friendly. Like I don't think they ended on bad terms or anything. They
No,
just,
because he was still friendly.
No, because
with
remember, Ashton Kutcher.
yeah,
Like,
they hung out
they were
together.
weirdly
right?
friends.
Yeah, that's what I was
Christmas together
thinking.
and
Like,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
Like Bruce Willis seemed like really a cool guy.
Imagine how awkward though that first.
I feel
meeting
bad
is.
for ever like making fun of like those awful fucking shitty movies that he was kind of.
No, you don't feel bad for that.
We didn't know that he was being forced to make those things by like this fucking guy that ran the production company. He kind of like had him under contract and just knew that he was sick and just kind of kept wheeling him out.
It's like that one
Fucking
singer.
Hollywood.
It's like the one singer I can't remember, like Frankie Valli or whoever it is right now. Like he's being forced to do like
You listening to him when he was
concerts.
in high school? Frankie Valli.
like
It was like some doo-wop
like-
ass shit.
he's being forced to do these concerts, and he's like super old and out of it. He's like, I don't even want to do this anymore.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. So on Instagram, okay, get this. So I know what you're talking about. He's like this 1,000-year-old man that they just kind of have. I was like, oh, Frankie Valli and the Four Tops, and it's just him. They're playing a backing track, and it's like this fucking Joe Biden looking asshole guy just going like this. Oh, baby, don't you want my girl? It's like this fucking mummy. It looks like Jimmy Carter now.
And he's like,
He's
he
just like-
said that it's because he's under a contract, so he's forced to go out there like
Yeah,
like Pinocchio.
There's rumors that Stan Lee was in like sort of like a similar situation with his business manager, where they're just like rolling him, working him while
Like,
he's
you just go out there and
fucking has
dance like a
dementia.
monkey.
Excelsior, true believers. Can I go home now? No, you got to go do 5 more Comic Cons. You need to go to the New York, Philly, San Diego, Chicago.
All right. Any final thoughts? Well, any questions? You still had Golden? You said you had a lot of questions.
No, the main question was just that: why would you keep going through it once you are no longer getting the benefits? And again, like I feel like I answered my own question with the fact that she lived in a world of vanity that even.
I thought for sure your questions were going to be about like what the fuck was that show?
No.
Why was
No, I
the
like-
show?
I'm not a huge body horror fan for like because of the fact it's so easy for people to get into. Let me just make this movie with gross stuff in it. So that's why there's so
Street
many out
trash.
there that aren't that good to me. But this one I really loved. I really enjoyed it.
Existentialism.
I thought that
It's
it-
man
they
versus
did
himself.
Such a good job at
It's like
really
the epitome of it.
earning all the gross out.
Yeah.
stuff. Like it was all earned. Like there was never other than the Quaid eating shrimp. Like that wasn't earned yet. but-
That was the
and
prime
probably
for
the
what you're about
grossest
to
part
say.
of it. Yeah, but other than that, like it was such a good movie. I felt they really did a good job of, like I said, earning it. It wasn't just gross for gross sake.
Yeah, they really do a good job of those close-ups to make him seem creepy.
It did. It was like
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
he
he
plays the role so well too, of like just like an absolute slimy creep.
Do you want to know what other? He was in 2 movies that were in theaters at the same time. The Substance is one. Do you know what the other one is, Golden?
Is it like Angels in the Outfield 12?
No, it's the that Ronald Reagan biopic
was-
where he
oh,
plays
yeah,
Ronald
Reagan.
Reagan.
He wasn't even in Angels in the Outfield.
He was in a
That
baseball
was
movie.
Christopher Lloyd.
He was in a baseball movie. What baseball movie was he in?
I don't
just
fucking
threw
know.
out
For the love of the game.
No. It was like rookie. It was like Rookie of the Year or something.
Sam Raimi's in that period.
I don't
where
think he was. Maybe he was.
When I have no fucking idea who's in that. I think
Yeah, when are we
Kevin
gonna-
Costner's.
when
in
are
For
we
the Love
gonna-
of the game?
Yeah, it's Kevin Costner.
And Field of Dreams.
Because he was like, remember when I was in Bull
When are
Durham?
we going to be a family again? I don't know, when the Angels win the pennant.
You got it. And then Rookie of the Year was Funky Butt Looking. That's the only thing I know from that movie because it
Lloyd
was
an angel in that movie, though.
Yes, he was in Angels in the Outfield as an angel. Danny Glover's in that movie.
Yeah, that's right.
And is
Oh, what's his face?
Gary
It's no
Busey.
longer a kid.
It's no longer a kid.
You know what I'm talking about? The kid.
No, I know.
The main kid in it was like,
I have no clue. You keep bringing up these kids, and
Yeah, I know. Golden's like he's not a kid anymore. He's not on my radar anymore.
Step by Step.
he wasn't even a kid in Step by Step. First of all, he was playing the cousin, but he was probably in his mid-20s. So
Was that like a season 5 edition where they're just like, we need to get,
they
we
didn't
need
wait
to
till 5 seasons. But yeah, it was like I think it was like a season 2, like,
call
like we
Cousin
gotta- it was
Oliver
it was
kind of
Urkel.
deal.
It was like an Urkel kind of deal. Like,
Well, Urkel was originally like a character on the show, and then they
Was he?
like, yeah, he was their neighbor, but then he became so popular they kept bringing him back, and then by the end it was the Urkel show, where they just had like him like building
Yeah.
robots and traveling time.
Don't
He
forget
went to
it-
space in the
don't forget,
finale.
it was a prequel
the last
to
episode.
Substance because he became Stefan,
Oh, it is. Well,
and she
yeah.
loves Stefan,
that
but
is
not
like
Steven.
that is what I thought. Like, good point. Weirdly,
The rookie.
it brought me to like a thing that I thought when I saw the trailer for it, and when I only knew like a little bit. Like the trailer I saw was like it was the commercial that they play in the Substance in the movie, but like cut with clips from the movie,
Yeah.
which was pretty effective for me because I'm a sucker for like a stylized trailer.
By the way, it
I was like,
the
what is
rookie.
this? I thought it was going to be like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing, which it kind of is, but not really, because she's not she doesn't transform, but she does like turn into like a monster. There's monsters in this movie, but it's the normal person and it's turning into a monster.
Going full circle, Dennis Quaid was in Jaws 3D.
Wow.
I didn't
The
know
other
that.
baseball, well,
Mike Brody.
baseball was featured kind of heavily in Frequency. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
No, I was thinking of the rookie.
And Twilight.
How
Which
did
is
we
a
get to
horror movie.
Twilight?
Hey, yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah, what
MLB.
are we gonna do the Twilight series? I would fucking blow
Remember the
my
90s when
brains
Dennis
out,
Quaid
dude.
was like,
Never, unless it's like a
he was like
Patreon
the
request.
hottest thing ever.
Dude, you would have to give me $100 to fucking watch that series of movies.
Oh, and he talked about baseball in Enemy Mine. See, there's Dennis Quaid is all about baseball.
He is.
I love
It's
Enemy Mine.
America's favorite pastime, right?
Are they lovers in that movie?
Enemy Mine? No, you never seen
not?
that movie?
You never seen Enemy of Mine?
I saw it when I was like 8 years old on like a VHS.
It was
tape.
on
Right
Mickey
there.
Mouse is piece of shit.
It was on HBO like every single hour.
Oh, I really liked it.
My grandma had HBO.
I
And I
don't
was
know
always
if it
on
was
I didn't
good.
have
Like,
HBO
I
until
won't
I was
rewatch.
like 10 or 12. But so like
was
my
the
pool of
Patreon
movies
deal.
was like late 90s.
That's how I got to see so much stuff. Because I'd stay at my grandma's all the time. She had HBO, and I was left unchecked.
That's how I watch.
Killer Clowns.
Yeah, we had HBO, and my parents would go to bed early, and I'd just be out in the living room. And every HBO movie started off with the same thing, which was this like drone. Like nowadays, it would be done with a drone shot through a city, but it was just a model of a city, and it was like the shot coming down through the city, and then HBO, and then you would go from that into your
still
opening
have
credits
that.
of like Tales
Like
from
if
the
you
Crypt.
watch stuff on Max.
If the neighbors had HBO, you could just switch out their splitter. And
I also saw The
bury
Neighbors
the
on
cable.
HBO.
They would never notice.
I also saw the movie The Neighbors on HBO.
Oh,
That was a
neighbors,
weird one.
parents.
Was it
That's
Parents?
a Randy
Not
Quaid.
Neighbors?
Well,
Parents is the movie.
Oh yeah, that one was that. I remember that one too.
oh, that's like one of your favorite movies.
What
Parents. I feel like he's talked about it a lot, hasn't he?
I never have, so if anyone has, it's been golden. I don't think I've seen that movie before. I've just seen the box.
I'm
art
thinking
of
of old episodes when he talked about it. The only movie I really remember him talking about a lot is
Jeepers Creepers.
yeah,
How dare you.
when he drove down south and cuddled with his cousin.
Ugh, Neighbors was so.
Let me show you. Let me see them
Listen.
peepers.
Yeah.
Episodes are out
Jeepers
there
Creepers.
somewhere. I got to go back through the back catalog and
Let me
find
see
it.
them peepers. Show me them peepers.
I do like the fact that there's a meme now that goes into because I always bitch about with Jeepers Creepers. Like, how the fuck did he get personalized plates?
Right.
And also now there's actually the meme out there, and it's that I bet you he's thinking
That
about
was
other
a
women.
thing from the
And then
when the movie
the
came
guy was
out.
like-
There just wasn't memes back then.
listen, it was very upsetting to me. Besides the fact that the movie was horrible, and then
I
later
still
to
had a
find out
flip phone
how
when Jeepers
horrible the
Creepers
director
came out.
was.
Actually,
That's
I
why
don't
he
even know
likes
if
the
I did
movie
have a
now.
phone.
He didn't like it at first, but then he found out what Victor Salvo was up to. He's like, all right, I can respect that.
What was
Francis Ford
You're gonna
Coppola
make
was a big
everybody-
supporter of that guy.
You can make
what
everybody
was
think
yeah, but you probably didn't know what was going on.
Oh,
He did.
he did.
Yeah.
He told, and he paid for his legal defenses, and like he lived with him. I don't want to get into.
We're not
It's
going down
all
this
of this is that would take me another 20 minutes to explain all the why Francis Ford Coppola sucks as a person.
What was I gonna say?
We're rating this.
What year did Jeepers Creepers come out?
2001.
Oh, shit, I didn't even have a cell phone then. There were definitely no memes on.
No, you weren't going to be sending them on the Nokia.
Back then, the memes were that ugly bunny. It was that Hot Topic and all the stickers.
Oh yeah, cute.
Oh, yeah.
Cute but scary.
Yeah, those were what memes were back then.
Johnny the homicidal maniac.
If the bunny wasn't saying it, then it wasn't fun.
People quoting movies to you.
Happy Tree Friends.
Happy Tree Friends, yes. I remember working at Hollywood Video and having to put so many stickers on that DVD to tell people this is not for kids because so many, and
That
it's like,
makes sense though.
but parents are like that because like my parents were the same way. They're like,
Parents are still like
oh, it's
that.
Muppets. They're like, this has got to be for kids. And then I'm watching David Bowie's crotch and I'm like getting scarred for
Parents
life.
are still like that, and they have a phone where they can look stuff up.
Well, I remember that from GameStop. Like,
People getting mad about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
I had a parent come in.
First Deadpool was shocking
Yeah.
to me.
Like I still remember. I had a.
Yeah.
I had
Buy the
a.
ticket. Andrew, sorry, buddy.
I still remember like we're getting GameStop and like this kid coming in trying to buy God of War 3, and I'm like, you can't. You're not old enough to get this. So his mom came in and she was mad at me because she had to get out of the car because this is a constant at GameStop. That doesn't narrow down my experiences at all. And she's like, "What? Why can't? What do I have to do?" I'm like, "Well, I just have to make sure you're okay with him having this game that's violence, murder, blood, sex, nudity." And she's like, "Is it male nudity?" I went,
What?
I go, no. I go, but they show like two women start making out and getting off on watching the main character have sex with Aphrodite. Like it's very like, and it's a mini game to hit the right buttons to make her come. And she's like, but it's not male nudity. And I'm like, is that what you're worried
Is it
about?
for
That
her
your
daughter?
son's gonna see a dick? No, it was her son.
Go see one
He's
of those.
got one.
Go see one of those Gears of War guys' dicks.
I guarantee
God
you.
damn. I bet they got to be tiny.
I guarantee
Look at
you,
those
her
guys.
thought was
Yeah, I have tiny.
that
little
if my
penises.
son sees a male penis, he's gonna be gay instantly. Like that's what she thought. So she's like, as long as he's not seeing dick, I don't care. I mean, he's 10 years old. He can see tits and vagina by now, but no dick.
and
But that doesn't
have
represent
a
everybody.
chainsaw gun where you fucking chainsaw guys in half and
I mean, we're just saying
Talking about Gears of War, man.
God of War, not
oh,
Gears of War.
I kept. That's all I was thinking. I was thinking Gears of War. I was like,
I was waiting,
I was like, why is
keep going
I
on
was like,
about this?
why is there sex in that game?
I was waiting for him to say like none of your space marine bullshit. It'd be like it would be like a direct.
I
quote from the
completely
first date.
misheard you. Yep, I was thinking, and I was picturing those guys getting naked out of their fucking armor, or maybe they just like pull the little flap open, and their tiny penis falls out.
It's
Gotta
Gears
have
of War
extends in that
director's
universe.
cut. It's Gears of War director's cut when they had sex.
Those guys are on steroids for sure.
Oh yeah, that was not human proportion. Make your dick shrivel. Anyways, you were saying?
What was the
about
point of that rant?
I don't know. We started on Jeepers Creepers, then got to memes, which got to Happy Tree Friends, which got to Hollywood Video telling parents not to get this for their kids, which got to God of War and Dick, which got to Gears of War because of misunderstanding, and Dick. All roads lead to Dick.
I guess so.
It's just how it is. Anyways, should we rate this?
Yeah. Let's end this.
We're doing this out of 5 again?
Yeah. Out of 5.
Honestly, I would give this like a 4.7.
Just talk about what you liked quick and what you didn't like.
I thought they earned all the gross out stuff. They didn't just like say, "Hey, here's some gross stuff, deal with it." I thought they did a really good job at portraying the emotions that the characters are trying to feel to make you feel them. And then like again, the ending was because if it would have ended without something crazy like that, nobody would have liked this movie except for like the people that are trying to act like they're so art house and stuff. I think that they paid that you were paid for the ride, like for sticking it out that whole time and watching the movie. And I say sticking out, but it wasn't. It didn't feel to me like how I feel with slow burns or anything, like where I feel like, oh God, I just got to get to the end. I was watching it, enjoying it, and then the end happened. I'm like, oh shit, we're at the end, and it was it was over 2 hours,
Yeah, it was
and
a
it
little
didn't
over
feel
2
like
hours.
it.
It didn't feel like
Which
it at
to
all.
me was the opposite of what with Terrifier
something
3 that we talked about, because Terrifier 3 was so dark and so gloomy and just so dirty.
It becomes
by the
punishing
end of
after
it
a little
hurts.
bit. Yeah.
This one, they kept everything was so bright in this movie, like everything except for a few little shots. And I feel like that is what made it to where you don't feel like you've been watching this progress for 2 hours
Right.
for a payoff. This felt like the payoff comes and you're like, oh shit, we're here.
And it's funny you say that because that is a criticism I've heard from some people that they thought it was too long. And I was like, and they're like, oh, the middle part sags. And I was like, I didn't feel
think
that.
so.
Yeah, I didn't feel
and
it.
if I'm
either.
not feeling it,
Right.
because you know me,
Yeah.
I'll fall asleep during the movie and then tell you I didn't understand any of
Yeah,
it.
with the
Paul is one of those
invitation,
guys that said
follow
that.
them.
invitation falls asleep right before the very best part, and then tries to hide it on the episode.
Listen, I
Classic.
stayed awake during this whole one, and to me, like that's like the biggest endorsement I can give is this might be considered a slow burn, right? People, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Like,
No,
not in
no
my
way.
opinion.
No way.
I felt
The
it.
editing's too
had-
quick cut. Yeah, it's fast paced.
It was
And,
fa-
and they have like enough stuff in between
Definitely.
the beginning and ending.
and I felt like they did such an awesome job at making you feel what the characters feel, and it goes back to, like, for me, Christopher Nolan, I think, is so good at that in his movies like Memento and Insomnia. You feel drained by the end of the movie because they're making you feel what they're feeling,
Right.
and I feel like in this movie
Have you seen?
everything was beautiful, and that added into the whole point of the movie. Is
Talking
it
about
was
the Robin Williams movie?
Yeah.
Have you seen the original?
No, I didn't know
Oh,
there was
dude.
original, but
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
I think it's Swedish film.
It makes
Nor-
sense.
Norway film.
It's
Norwegian.
I mean, it's got to be somewhere where they've got extended days, because otherwise that movie wouldn't make sense. But yeah, it's.
So good.
I felt like they did such a good job with, like, it works as
Can't
a
sleep
visceral,
anymore.
It works as a
straight out.
visceral horror movie, but it also works as like almost like a high art type.
Okay.
Like it works on both things, because
Okay.
like you were watching it and saying, "Oh, look at this metaphor," and you can watch it and see all those.
Well, it runs through the whole film.
But you can also watch it as just a straightforward.
If you're
movie.
looking for a metaphor, it's kind of hard not to see it.
Oh yeah,
You know.
that's what I'm saying. Is it works both ways on that. Like
But
you don't need to watch
you
it to be
don't.
like, oh,
Yeah,
how beautiful the
Like,
metaphor.
no,
was.
no, you don't. Absolutely. Like you can just go and turn it on and want to watch, entertain yourself
Dennis Quaid each
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
with the plot. I mean, not that this movie does lack a lot of plot. It doesn't lack plot, but it's like a flat arc, because it's just like I said, it's the epitome of man versus himself.
Is Dennis Quaid ever not shown through a special lens? Because I felt like all the shots of him were, I don't want to say fisheye, but like super
What do
close
you mean by
up.
special lens?
Like it wasn't just a flat thing.
Well,
like
he
it,
starts far away in the shot in the hallway when he brings her the box, but then it comes to a close up.
and I feel like he's always, and I feel like that's probably a big thing that they wanted to do too was, hey, anytime he's on screen, it feels like
Something with like a short focal length.
he
or
feels very close up and like in your personal space.
Yeah, it
And I
makes
feel
you
like that
uncomfortable.
adds it to like say,
Yeah.
hey, let's take the person who's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable and make sure he makes you feel uncomfortable,
Yeah, I mean, this movie is anything but subtle.
but not in a bad way.
No. Yeah, like it's. I don't feel like it. Yeah, it's
Like
not.
it didn't feel heavy fisted, but they're definitely guiding you, taking you by the hand and going, hey, look, you're not
Would
you're
you-
not going to think this guy's a nice guy.
Would you consider this elevated?
Some
horror?
stuff is hand fisted, like the Dennis Quaid stuff, but I don't feel like it's too heavy though.
No,
No.
they did the perfect balance in my opinion, and
And
I do think this is
Yeah, like you can
Elevated
you
horror,
can look deeper into it
just
if you
because
want
of the
to.
metaphors and stuff and everything that it's trying to convey, it definitely is elevated horror.
Okay.
It has more. It has more going on than just the plot.
But it's also
Right? That's the
something
idea
that
of elevated.
I would
think.
recommend to somebody.
I don't know how to define
even if
elevated
they
horror.
didn't like elevated
It's
horror.
more like the scary thing is you. It's kind of like an elevated horror thing. Is like people are like the scariest.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing, like
Trauma
even though
and-
I would consider this
I
an
just
elevated
figured
horror.
anything artsy counted as elevated
Me too.
A little bit.
That's why
I mean,
because people said that about Mandy, that it was elevated horror.
see. I would never call Mandy elevated horror. I feel like once you get Nicolas
it's
Cage
arty.
and
That's
a
for
giant
sure.
chainsaw,
But
I'd be like,
like again, another movie that's it's extremely unsubtle. Like,
oh yeah,
that movie rips. Also, I
Yeah, I
love
do
that
too.
movie. It's so good.
Me as well.
I've been trying to
watched
get
the
my
movie so
brother
many
to watch
times.
it, and I'm like, if there's ever a movie that you would like,
Oh, Scott hasn't watched it.
no, I've been telling him for years to fucking watch that movie. So what did you?
Shame on you, Scott.
So what did you rate this movie?
Just because I really, really, really like what's going on beyond just what you see on screen, and how it tightly it bundles everything together into like this vanity workshop. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay. I'm giving it a 5 because I really, really liked it. It's my favorite horror movie that I watched this year. I personally can't think of anything wrong with it. I liked everything in it. I wouldn't change anything. I recommend it to literally anybody that'll listen to me about what movies I liked this year. I put it at the top of every list. Yeah, I love this movie. I think it's awesome. Definitely, like, if you listen to this, I'm sorry that if you haven't watched it already. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of it. Email. Do we have an email where they can send us questions and stuff? Or would it be easier to just go on the Facebook?
just watch it live and start.
Social media,
messaging us
we're on
there.
most platforms.
Yeah,
so.
we're Horror Dork on almost everything: Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter.
YouTube. Go on there.
Sky.
Probably the best way to get a hold of us.
Yep.
You can DM us too.
Yep.
AOL Messenger.
If you want to get a hold of
If you
Mr. Sir, DM Facebook.
Yep. DM the Facebook. You'll get in touch with me directly. What do you want to do next week? Are we thinking Smile 2? Or were you
I
thinking...
thought you wanted. Okay, we could do Smile
We
too.
can do whatever you want to watch.
But I wanted to continue with Texas Chainsaw as well.
Okay.
So if you guys want to do 2 movies or 1 movie, it's up to you.
I'm down. Whatever. With my new setup I've got where I can put on a movie while I'm working.
Yeah, I can definitely.
It's a lot
watch-
easier than it used to be for me to.
I can definitely watch 2 movies this week. So.
And I've already seen Smile too. So.
Okay.
Worst case
So
scenario.
we'll do Texas Chainsaw at the beginning, and did we do the beginning?
No.
Okay. And then we'll do Smile too.
Okay,
Sounds
sounds good. All right, so that's what we got for going on for you next week. So,
Watch them ahead of time so you don't have to worry about us spoiling the shit out of everything.
for Horror Dark, I'm Mr. Sir.
I'm Golden.
I'm Other Golden.
All right, keep it creepy.
Freeze frame.